The problem with the MVP award is in the name. Most valuable player. And value is subjective. What does it mean? The best player on the best team? The best statistical season? Is it just a quarterback award? Is it something else? What is value? All right, everybody, welcome to the Backseat Huddle. I'm your host, Tristan Weber. Today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the MVP award and why I've come to really dislike the award. I've come to really dislike the MVP award because I think it's been warped into something that it should not be or should not ever have been. And I think the award has become a little dumb. The MVP award is dumb because people don't know what value actually is. I believe value is defined by three things. Value is how much do you mean to your team's success, how replaceable are you, and how many others in the NFL are able to do what you do if they were in your position. Value is not statistical dominance. Value is not whoever has the best season. Value is not whoever the best quarterback is. Value is not the best player on the best team. A perfect example of value is Patrick Mahomes. Right now, Mahomes is more valuable to his team this season throwing 30 touchdowns than he was when he threw 50 touchdowns in 2018. Because right now, his pass catchers and his team is significantly worse. And what he means to his team is significantly higher. There were multiple players in 2018 who could have stepped into that Chiefs offense with two Hall of Fame pass catchers, one of the best offensive line in the NFL, the reigning rushing yards leader, and a Hall of Fame head coach, and had an excellent season. Perhaps not 50 touchdowns, but they would have been very good. And as such, I don't believe Patrick Mahomes' value that season was particularly high. He was incredible, but that's something independent of value. As opposed to this season, there are very few quarterbacks who could be put into his situation, have a winning record, and have a top 5 QBR in the NFL. That is what value looks like. And that is exactly why I think voters got it right with Cam Newton in 2015. That season, he truly was the most valuable player in the entire league. That season, he met every criteria. He was individually great. There was probably not another quarterback in the entire league you could have dropped into that offense with that team, and they would have had that type of success. That entire offense flowed through him, and they were great. And that's the reason I have a problem with Brock Purdy potentially winning MVP this season, because his value, at least under my definition, is very low. He is undoubtedly a very good player having a great season, but his value is questionable. And I'm a Brock Purdy defender. Well, how much does he mean to his team's success? He's the eighth best player on his own team, so it's questionable. How replaceable is he? This is where people get the idea of value wrong, where they'll say, well, if Sam Darnold was leading the team, they wouldn't be nearly as good. Well, yeah, no shit. Every team would be worse with their backup. Jimmy Garoppolo won while he was in San Francisco, and he wasn't very good. But when he was replaced with someone like Nick Mullins, they were trash. So did Jimmy G deserve MVP? The actual question is how many other starting caliber quarterbacks would have similar success when put in that situation? And we saw this exact scenario play out when Jimmy G was hurt and was replaced by Brock Purdy, who is starting caliber. They were good with Jimmy G and they were good with Brock Purdy. Given Brock Purdy is way better than Jimmy G, so the team is also better. There's multiple starting quarterbacks who would have similar success to what Brock Purdy is having if they were in San Francisco. Matthew Stafford, Kirk Cousins, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, CJ Stroud, Justin Herbert, just to name a few. Brock Purdy is a perfect example of what makes the MVP award decision so difficult. It's easy to get caught up in who's having the best season because Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy are having way better seasons than someone like, say, Patrick Mahomes, but if you were to switch their scenarios, what would it look like? The 49ers would be the greatest team ever assembled if they had Patrick Mahomes, and who the hell knows what the Chiefs would look like if they had Brock Purdy. Put Dak Prescott on the Chiefs, and they aren't the same. We've seen what Dak Prescott looks like without an elite wide receiver. They had to trade for Amari Cooper in the midseason because Dak Prescott looked lost. Tell me that's not what value means. How many players are able to do what you do? How much do you mean to your team? How replaceable are you? That's what value is. But it is hard to justify giving MVP to a player that has an 8-5 record with like 10 less touchdowns and 5 more interceptions, despite that player, Patrick Mahomes, actually being more valuable to his team. None of that is to say that I think Patrick Mahomes is the MVP this season. I'm just using him as an example to show what value actually looks like. So all in all, that's my take on MVP. If you liked it, feel free to give me a sub. If you don't like it, feel free to tell me why I'm wrong in the comments. Take care, everybody.